So here we are back on the air conditioning project, or the refrigerator, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of interesting. I had this sensor for the temperature control. I had it running alongside the compressor before, and while it was alongside the compressor, then it would go into alongside one of those cylinders right where the cold section is. I was taking into consideration, this is the element of change, right? And not really. I mean, it goes the full length of this thing. So you can see I have foam on here. So this much of it was submerged in foam, so that wouldn't have been affected. However, this part of it was alongside the compressor, so this side was warm, this side was cold, and I believe that's my problem that I'm having with it right now. So what I have is, either I have it on or I have it off. There's no real happy medium. There's too much variance. So I'll turn this thing, and it moves a lot before it ever cycles between, before the switch switches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move its location up and avoid all the warmer areas as much as possible. I have to carve out this foam. I did the other side, but I'm not going to show you yet until I get this side done. I'm going to save this side for the video as far as the process. I'm cutting out the foam, and then just a little bit, just enough, and then filling it with epoxy to level it out, and then sanding it down and painting it to kind of hide things. So I'll let you see that process, and we'll go from there. I'm going to lack precision on the epoxy. Kind of guesstimating. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. I'm just kind of guesstimating when I'm mixing it. I don't have the actual measuring cup. I ran out. It'll still mix fine. So, if you notice the sandpaper's on my back, that was from my kiddo earlier today when I did the other side. He wanted to help me, and I let him help. Well, those were his buttons to make me do different things, just for a little fun for him. He's a 5-year-old, so. What I'm doing right now is I'm moving the foam around to try and get rid of any bubbles that are coming up. Okay, it's been several hours now. This is a really slow cure epoxy. I have a feeling the stuff is not quite cured yet, or even remotely hard yet. Well, it's tacky, but it at least doesn't sink a bolt right into it. Just trying this little bolt here. So it's tacky enough that it'll definitely adhere to the next layer, but thick enough that it's not going to create any more bubbles at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and get a pin and poke a hole in any bubbles that I see. And then I will go ahead and mix it up and pour it in. Now, one thing I have to note, one of these cylinders here, actually two it looks like, is slightly below the surface of the depth of the block. So I have to put a cup in there in order to make sure I get the epoxy high enough to make up for that flat surface, and kind of take a look. Okay, maybe I'll use tape instead of a cup, because of the fact that I have 3 of them though. I use a cup on one of them, but I can't use tape on the one. So I use tape on 2 and a cup on 1. Looks like I might be running a little short on epoxy. Now keep in mind, this block is leveled out. I did take a level to it and made sure it was absolutely level as possible. I'll let you get an idea of what this ends up looking like once it's completed. Here's the side that I did already. Okay, next morning here, and we have some nice rock hard epoxy. So the tape will come off nice and easy, I know that. I also noticed something else. I was trying to remove bubbles or keep bubbles down. In this spot, there's a whole bunch of little bubbles for some reason. Not sure why. The rest of it looks great. Looks like it did what I wanted to do everywhere else. But for some reason, a bunch of bubbles popped up here, which is a little bit strange. Now I gotta sand all that epoxy down. There's a lot of epoxy on it. I'm actually gonna go look for my belt sander. I don't know where it is. I don't remember where I put it. But my orbital is gonna take too long to do that. Belt sander was for the heavy sanding. Now I have to switch to the orbital to take care of the finish sanding. I'm going to start with a coarse grit on the orbital and then move to a finer grit. There we have it. We have a engine block, all painted, a seed and whatnot. I hit the evaporator, or condenser I mean, a little bit. It was an evaporator, now it's a condenser. And so now I gotta get this center section, get the mid plate or cover plate on there. Pretty sure I'm gonna do a plate. If I don't, I'll paint it like I did inside the lifter valley area. I finally got it in here. I got the table and a chair for customers. I took the time to move a lot of stuff around. I still have to deal with these epic stackable containers. So here it is, the finished product. Got a laptop in place for cruising the web or whatever. I have a nice chair. Of course, you can see my office in the background there where I do my little bookkeeping. But I figure I'll put a nice sheet or something over top of this chair. But worst case scenario, I need to take a little break, you know. Sit here, grab my water or pop or whatever I decide to throw in the fridge. I just turned it on so it's not cold yet, but you know, it takes a little while, it cools down. Got a nice little tabletop. Quite nice out here. Got the sun hitting me. Oh, this is perfect. This could be bad. I might not get any work done. So, if you enjoy projects like this, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave me a nice little comment. I don't mind doing these fun little projects, and I certainly don't mind taking video of them if you guys like seeing it. These little interesting things. My next plan here is that chair over there. The chair itself, so the part with the armrest and the seat at the back, that's worn out. The shock, the wheels, that kind of stuff still works fine. But being the chair is worn out, my next plan here is to take a car that I'm going to be scrapping. It's a Nissan Altima. It was my own personal car, and I had a reindeer, essentially, is what I'm calling it, because he came from the damn sky, fall in front of my car. He must have been trying to jump the road, didn't make it. And I was doing 60-ish miles an hour when I hit the thing, so it totaled the car. Spun me out the whole 9 yards. It was a big deer, probably a 200-pound deer, 180, 200. It was a very big deer. Very healthy until I hit it. But anyway, so I'm going to take the seats from that car. They're a cloth seat, but they're in excellent condition. And I'm going to mount one of them on this chair, and then I'm going to make it my chair, my office chair in the house as well. I figured, what the heck, why not, you know? So those are going to be my next little project, is to make a couple of nice little reclining chairs. They are power seats though, so I'm not sure how I'm going to make that work. Maybe I'll end up putting a battery in it or something cool. Who knows? It's not like you have to recline it that often. But yeah, that's going to be one of my next projects here. And if you like to see these projects, let me know, because I don't know if I want to share them or not. I just figured I'd at least throw this one up here because this one's so friggin' cool. I mean, who doesn't want a refrigerated V8 engine table? Yeah. Who wouldn't want one in their shop? I mean, come on, that thing's sweet. So, I'm going to still decorate that a little bit. I still got to do a little bit of stuff. I want to get an oil pan, and I'm still debating if I want to cover that hole in the front or not. It's kind of ugly. So, aside from that, I'm very happy with the project. And, yeah, I certainly enjoyed doing it. It was a lot of fun to do, so I don't want to get up. I don't want to get off this chair. I honestly don't. This chair is actually really comfy. We never really used it in the house. It was sitting in my house. I never really used it. We always just set stuff on it, and now I'm kind of like, dang it. Why didn't I ever use this thing? It's actually really nice. I digress. So, I gotta get up. I gotta do things. I just figured I'd share this little bit with you before I post the video. I gotta show the finished product, you know. And the coolest thing about this whole table is I can actually set the temperature to whatever I want. You know, because I got the dial on there. So it's kind of nice. I'm planning on doing maybe a styrofoam cylinder head and painting it. And I want to do that for insulation factor, kind of make a surround around here. If I make the bottles too cold, I can only kind of chill them. Otherwise, it condensates a bunch of moisture on here. Obviously, I can't have that, so I'm gonna probably go ahead and make some kind of hinged cylinder head device that I can utilize for this thing to insulate those bottles. I certainly don't want to have a bunch of moisture building up everywhere. In fact, that's why I put all the spray foam in the back. That was to keep the moisture from condensating on all the plumbing inside of it. Otherwise, I'd end up with a big puddle underneath this thing. And that worked really well. So I think I'm just going to take an original cylinder head and make a pattern of it, and then create some styrofoam replica head looking things, and just create a door for it. I think that would be kind of fun to do too. So a little added step, but I think it'd be worth it, especially with how cool this thing turned out. So